so today's video is a storytelling video. This happened a few years ago, but the reason why I thought of it was because yesterday I did a video with my ex-boyfriend Alex, and this story actually takes place during the time that I dated Alex, and Alex is very much so a part of the story. So I figured it would be a good time to do the video. Also, if you haven't seen yesterday's awkward and painful video, I suggest you go watch it. I'll leave the link to it in the description box below. So this story begins about 3 years ago. I used to have a cat named Winston Pickles, and he was just an amazing cat. I really love him. Rest in peace, Winston Pickles. You are missed. Every time I eat a pickle, I think of you. Basically, what led to Winston Pickles' demise was the fact that I'm not gonna point any fingers, Mom, but someone left the door open and the cat got out. And we waited all night for the cat to come back. The cat never came back. It was heartbreaking, and I know that especially in the area where I live, there's a huge coyote problem, so we just assumed that my cat got eaten, which made me feel terrible. I think I spent about like 2 or 3 weeks just driving around the neighborhood late at night just calling his name. I'm pretty sure my neighbors thought that I had like a really tumultuous affair with a jar of pickles. Pickles! Pickles! Come back! A few months had gone by and myself and my family had already given up hope, and I remember this night to a T. I was at Planet Fitness, I was on the elliptical, and I hear my phone going off and it's Alex. I'm like, okay, well, Alex is at work. I wonder why he's calling me right now. So I pick up the phone and he's like,
Steph, you'll never believe what happened. I was just on a pizza delivery to this house and I walked up to these people's porch and there was Winston, and I gave these people their pizza, and they were like, yeah, well, that cat just like lives under our porch, and we feed it sometimes, but we don't know whose it is, and it's neutered, and it started showing up like 3 or 4 months ago around the time that your cat went missing, so I really think it's Winston.
And immediately I'm just like overwhelmed with emotions. I get off the elliptical, I'm like half crying, like, oh my god, Pickles is alive! And he was like,
I took the cat with me, he's in the car right now.
And I'm like, wait, you're at work delivering pizzas and there's a cat in your car? And then I was like, are you sure it's Winston Pickles? And he's like,
I'm positive it looks just like him.
So I was like, oh my god, it's Winston. So I immediately get off the phone with him and I call up my family and I start crying on the phone like, oh my god, the cat's alive. Alex is a hero. And my mom is crying, and I think even my brother is crying. Everyone is just like so happy and so overjoyed. Then I call Alex back and I'm just like, oh my god, so what do I do? Like, are you gonna come to my house and bring the cat there? Or am I going to come to your job and I'm gonna go get the cat? And he's like, well, you come here because I still have to work. So I meet him at his pizza delivery job and I get out of my car and my heart is just thumping in my chest because I'm about to see my cat that's been missing for so long now, and we are finally going to be reunited, and I'm expecting it to be like that moment where like the lion sees the guy that it used to be friends with when it was a baby, and then they run towards each other and the tiger embraces him. Have we all seen that viral video? Is that just me? I don't know. So I get into Alex's car and that doesn't look like Winston. The cat was a lot more orange than Winston, and he was also extremely fat. So I'm just like, well, either that's not Winston or Winston's been eating real good over the past few months. And I don't know whether to be upset or angry or confused because I'm holding this cat that's not mine. So at this point I really feel like I have no other choice than to take this cat home with me, because I can't just like leave the cat there. I can't just like abandon the cat somewhere else. Like, God knows what this cat's already been through. So I bring the cat back to my house and my family's all excited, and at this point in time, I already had Bob Marley. I already had another cat. And he was about 6-7 months, I think. I'm not even sure, but he was an adolescent, unneutered male cat. And I was bringing in another male cat into the house. As soon as I bring in Winston Pickles, Bob Marley just goes nuts. He goes insane. He just starts hissing and clawing and making these evil demonic sounds. And immediately we have to separate the two cats, because if we leave them in the same room together, one of them will die. Potentially a bystander as well, because that is how palpable the hatred was between these two animals. And my family's looking at him, and immediately they start thinking, this isn't Winston. So that night we went to bed, and the next morning we decided to try and reintroduce the cats again, and of course that didn't work because they almost tried to kill each other again. We had to literally like rip them apart from each other. And at that point I was like, that's definitely not Winston. Like, it's not. I was looking at photos of him on my phone all night. Like, that is not my cat. It's totally different color, different size, not my cat. I call up Alex and I'm like, dude, you made a mistake. That's not Winston. So he's like, well, since your cat is trying to kill this cat, why don't you just bring him over to my house and he could stay at my house for the time being. Well, Alex had 2 cats already, so now he had a 3rd cat at home. Fortunately, all of his cats were fixed and were not vicious like my cat was, so there really was no problem, but the cat was very scared and it felt so bad for it because, you know, he had already been through so much. I felt like I had to do something about this. I felt like I was put into this situation so I could help the cat. So what I did is I took some pictures of him and I put up a listing on Craigslist, and I crossed my fingers because in the back of my head I'm thinking, who the heck is gonna want a really fat orange cat? Finally, I got a phone call from a girl who specifically wanted an orange cat. And she said she didn't want a kitten because she had a young child. So I said, well, this is perfect, but I have to warn you, the cat is extremely overweight. She met the cat, she loved him, she took him in. We texted for a couple months just to keep each other updated, and apparently her and her kid absolutely loved the cat. I don't even remember what they named him. I think I gave him like a temporary name, Garfield or something. But I was just really happy because the cat ended up having a happy ending. I felt like this case of a mistaken identity was meant to happen. I was meant to have this cat be put into my life so I could save it and find it a new home, and if I could do it again, I totally would. So yeah, that's it for today's story. I hope you guys found it a little amusing, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!